Senate will want to do that. I mean, there's no possible explanation for why they would not want Mr. Bolton under oath.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.
National correspondent Chris Jansen on the ground in the home state of Susan Collins, Booth Bay Harbor, Maine, specifically to find out what people are talking about in Maine. As it plays in Maine, Chris, is that how it's going to play in the Senate?
Well, I think you're looking at, this is a critical place where we're going to see whether or not impeachment really makes a difference in whether or not the Democrats can take control of the Senate for sure, Chuck. Look, this is a top target, Susan Collins' seat in 2020. She's somebody who has built a brand since she first got into the Senate in 1997 on being a centrist. She did that by being a Republican who, for example, voted for against the Obamacare repeal. She voted against Trump's emergency declaration at the border. She voted against Betsy DeVos at education, but then she voted for Brett Kavanaugh. And you cannot win here without the support of independents and Democrats and those people who voted for her because of things like her pro-abortion stance, her support for LGBTQ rights. Said what? What now? So we ask voters, could your vote be changed for Susan Collins if, depending on how she votes in impeachment? And here's what they told us.
I'd like to see
Cassandra likes the Dalish
team and, support this guy. I think Susan tries to, play both sides and appease everybody too much.
She's following her typical course of wavering all the time. As far as her playing both sides, I find that I don't like it. Let's put it that way. And would I stand by her? No. She will lose my vote when she runs again. I am very hopeful that she asks for more witnesses and documents.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on
This morning, take a look. Crowd size tells one story. The latest polls are telling another. What's fascinating is how the national polls in Iowa and New Hampshire are starting to converge. The question is, which convergence should we be leaning towards? Who better to break it down than my man, Steve Kornacki. So, Steve, we are starting to see the national polls indicate some consolidation for Bernie and Biden.
Here you go.
The state polls indicate consolidation for Bernie. Notice I didn't say Biden, and I think this is the big question mark. The wild card is Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah, I mean, so take a look. You mentioned, we've been saying for a long time, we don't have enough polls out of Iowa. Now we have too many to count. Here's three of the most recent, and there's more than this in the last few days. But you see, there is a poll out there with Biden up, a bunch of have Sanders ahead. If you average everything together in Iowa, average of all the polls out there currently, this is what it looks like right now. You mentioned Sanders now in the lead in the average, 25, Biden 22, Warren back at 14. You mentioned Buttigieg. It's interesting because I think there's probably a lot of overlap there in terms of Buttigieg and his supporters' second choice and Biden. But I think there's also some reason to suspect that Buttigieg perhaps has been a beneficiary of Warren's slide as well, because there's some demographic overlap there with the higher income, college-educated, self-described liberal voters who like Warren and Buttigieg. So perhaps there's a little bit more going on there. But again, you mentioned this, if Sanders could win here in Iowa, if he could get a clean win, because remember they've got multiple vote counts here, so it's a new variable, but if he could get a clean win in Iowa, our new poll, you mentioned this too, New Hampshire, Sanders won it in 2016, leading it now. Is there a burst of momentum? Can he go 2-0? Because nationally, he's not leading right now. This is the average of all the national polls. But the track record, the half century of the modern Democratic Party presidential nominating process, the candidate who goes 2-0, winning Iowa, winning New Hampshire, it's happened 4 times, and they're 4 for 4 at then winning the nomination. So take that for what it's worth, too.
True enough.
Steve, one thing about New Hampshire, it's an open primary. Those independent voters, if there is a Stop Bernie effort, it may begin with those New Hampshire independent voters. Anyway, it's going to be a wild February, I have a feeling.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.
This morning, take a look.
It's increasingly apparent that it would be important to hear from John Bolton. I, of course, will make the final decision on witnesses after we've heard from not only the prosecution but also the defense. But I think at this stage it's pretty fair to say that John Bolton has a relevant testimony. I think it's increasingly likely that other Republicans will join those of us who think we should hear from John Bolton.
Okay. Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to...
Seeker, you initially believed our Herald of Andraste was involved in the attack on the Conclave, yes?
I did. The evidence seemed damning, given the lack of an alternative.
Yet you changed your mind.
You also heard the voices at the temple. Is it so surprising I listened to them?
Sadly, yes. Too few invested with authority possess the courage to alter their course. They fear the appearance of weakness.
The truth is more important than my reputation. And anyone wishing to accuse me of weakness is welcome to try.
John Bolton wasn't the only one dropping some bombshells on the Trump administration this past weekend. Lev Parnas, through his attorney Joseph Bondi, was also dropping a few of his own on Saturday. On Saturday, Bondi released a video, a 90-minute video from April 2018, inside a private dining room in Trump Hotel, where Lev Parnas, Igor Fruman, Donald Trump, and several others were sitting around talking about Ukraine. And at one point in this video, Lev Parnas, who Donald Trump claims he never met, was speaking personally and directly with the President of the United States at this private little gathering. And Parnas told Donald Trump that Marie Yovanovitch, the former, at the time current, ambassador to Ukraine, was talking bad about him and talking about how he may end up being impeached. And Trump responded on the video saying the following: "Get rid of her. Get her out tomorrow. I don't care. Get her out tomorrow. Take her out. Do it." So this puts yet another hole in Donald Trump's impeachment defense. Marie Yovanovitch didn't do anything wrong. You know, they claimed they had gotten rid of her because she was corrupt, when in reality she was the one who was over there fighting corruption. We now know that it was in fact personal for Donald Trump to get rid of Marie Yovanovitch, and it's very likely that Parnas was tapped by the president with spying on her, which had already been revealed. So yes, we're putting more of these pieces together. And as I've said repeatedly, it's a damn shame that we didn't get to put these pieces together before the House voted on impeachment. Seems like these kinds of things would have been, you know, rather important to that story. But nevertheless, there's nothing we can do about that at this point. We have this information now. We have the videos now. Oh, and guess what? Here's the best part. Mr. Bondi, the attorney for Lev Parnas, says that's not the only video. And maybe we'll release more, maybe we won't. Bondi's hope is that the Senate will in fact call Lev Parnas to testify so that Parnas can tell these stories himself. But if he doesn't, then get ready, because more and more videos are going to continue to come out. And Bondi did say that the House of Representatives did have most of these videos already, so it's likely they've seen this information. But that's another part of the story here, is like, why, if you've seen it, House Democrats, why didn't you release it? Why didn't you tell us about this? Why didn't you have Parnas come and testify? Why didn't you wait for the court to clear him to testify? You rushed it. And you may have screwed yourselves over on that point. Because we know that the Senate is terrified of guys like Lev Parnas. They're also terrified of guys like John Bolton. They do not want them to testify because these guys were in the heart of the scandal. They know everything that happened. They've told us everything that happened. Unfortunately, they haven't told us these kinds of things on the record. And that's what we have to change. We have to get these guys on the record. We have to get these videotapes admitted as new evidence in this impeachment trial, which can't even happen because Republicans have already blocked that. This whole thing is a sham. So here is what could possibly happen from all this. If Parnas doesn't testify, we're going to get more and more and more of these videos. And these videos, much like the one that came out this past weekend, are going to further implicate Donald Trump in criminal activity. And if there is a slow leak of these, if they don't just release them all in a batch, but if they do one every couple of weeks, it keeps the story alive. Not just the story of Trump being corrupt, but the story of the Republicans covering it all up with the impeachment scam of the trial. That is what we have to keep fresh in the public mind. The trial is going to end, maybe in the next week and a half. But if these tapes keep coming out, between now and the election, and each time we learn a new bombshell like we did here that, yeah, Trump did the thing we thought he did, then we can keep it fresh in the public's minds that the Republicans in the Senate betrayed them. Because if not, by the time November rolls around, I can promise you, because we've seen it before, the public will have forgotten and moved on from the entire impeachment hearings.
I wonder what dreams it might
I know
hold.
what a lot of you out there are thinking. You're thinking, wouldn't it be amazing if you could wear the Ring of Fire logo across your chest? Well, now you can. Just head on over to our Teespring page to find some awesome merch we're offering for our viewers. We have more designs that are going to be added in the near future, so just follow the link in the description or take a peek at the shelf of merchandise under this video. Thanks for watching.
Good afternoon. Just want to make a couple of comments about the Bolton revelations and then answer one or two questions. We're running a little late, so we'll have to keep it to that. The news of the last 24 hours that John Bolton not only prepares to testify, but that based on his manuscript, that testimony would include a direct conversation with the President of the United States, where the President made it clear that he was conditioning military aid on political investigations or the tool that he wanted from Ukraine, makes it all the more clear why you can't have a trial, a meaningful trial, without witnesses, and you certainly can't have one without John Bolton. I am, pleased that the senators are reconsidering. Some that had, I think, questions about the utility of witness testimony, they appear to be reconsidering, and I think that's very positive because this witness obviously has such relevant information to shed on the most egregious of all of the charges in the articles of impeachment, and that is that the President of the United States withheld hundreds of millions of dollars in military aid from an ally at war to help secure that nation's help to cheat in the next election. Now, let me make one other point, though, very clear. We already have testimony on this key pernicious charge against the President, and that testimony has been consistent and uniform and uncontested. When the President's counsel says, as they did on the Senate floor, that there's no direct evidence the President ever told someone he was conditioning the aid on his investigations, that's just not correct. He told Mick Mulvaney, and Mick Mulvaney admitted it publicly, saying that he had discussed this DNC server issue with the President, and that was part of the reason they held up the money. So the President's own Chief of Staff has already admitted to discussing this with the President. What's more, Ambassador Sondland spoke to the President on September 7th, and while the President denied a quid pro quo, he then went on to explain to Sondland there was in fact a quid pro quo over the aid. That is, Zelensky had to go to the mic to answer these, announce these investigations. And of course, all of the other circumstantial evidence, the fact that there was no legitimate reason for holding the aid, the fact that all of the national security staff, all of the advisors and the other secretaries were urging that it be released. The uncontradicted evidence is as simple as 2 + 2 = 4. Nevertheless, the president's lawyers sought to contest this charge. And now that they have, they cannot dispute the relevance and the importance of John Bolton's testimony. So you have to come in, testify under oath. Senators should not wait until March 17 when the book comes out. They should demand this information while it would still be pertinent to their decision. No, because what that argument amounts to, and bear in mind, we did use that approach with other witnesses like Don McGann. It is now more than 9 months since we subpoenaed Don McGann, and we're nowhere near a court decision. So when people say, why didn't you go to court to insist and fight and go through the district court and the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court, we would still have that question unresolved a year from now. So it's really an argument to say that the president should be able to unilaterally decide whether and when he should be impeached. Given that he was attempting and has been attempting and continues to attempt to cheat in the next election, we cannot feel we could wait. Now, it isn't a question for John Bolton. He was
only 10 more shards to go.
We invited him to testify in the House. Why? Well, I don't.
And then I'll have all the shards in this
but he is, for whatever reason,
map.
unwilling to come before the House. He is willing to come before the Senate, and the senators should not turn away from this very relevant evidence. Any other? Mano had a question. Yes, I want to give others a chance. I'm sorry. Yeah. You know, it's not a question of whether I trust John Bolton or the Republican senators, John Bolton, or the Democratic senators. He should be placed under oath. And this is why we think the testimony should be public. It should be live. Let the American people, along with the senators, evaluate John Bolton's credibility when he testifies and make their own judgment. But to say that we're going to blind ourselves from a witness who has so clearly relevant testimony to one of the central, most serious allegations against the president, I don't see how you can have a fair trial without testimony like that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would that I could. Right. That's why.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna listen to a reaction to the most recent Doctor Who episode from Seska Says. You can check out her YouTube channel if you want while I'm doing this.
So I'm gonna get this out to you as quickly as possible, and yeah, let's get into it. We have no name, people. That means something's up with this episode. Wow, he does not look happy. Uh-oh. The mood changed. About this. Oh! Is that an actual dust
I both accepted and completed a quest at the same time. She's fangirling over the Jadoon right now.
Oh, this stuff is so exciting.
Why? Why not with us? You ask too many questions.
Oh. You find that endearing in people's stuff. I am so excited for this episode. Let's go.
I've already completed the quest, accepted and completed the quest, all at the same fell swoop.
No, no.
But here's a special birthday message to her.
Ow, he's savage. Goodness me.
What are you doing in my kitchen? Stay inside to keep the door closed. Do not let anyone in, especially alien police.
Look at this little lot. I can help you just there. On the counter there's a dossier.
Wow.
That's it, you big lump. Sorry.
Oh, no way. Oh, I thought that love triangle was going to continue through the episode, you know?
Because you respect the rules, I'm very disappointed in you.
Oh my god, where are you?
Where are you?
What?
Beginning to realize that chat fangirling over Jack.
Oh my god, he's something. Oh my god. You think he's the doctor? Let's go! Let's fucking go! What? Oh. Oh. I knew the voice. I knew the fucking voice. Okay, I'm paying attention. Sorry.
Destroying something to pick up that amulet because that amulet's valuable even if I don't use it.
Well, this ain't no shit. They got choose this luck? He needs to know the future of the universe is at stake. Not him, she. This I gotta see. Use the fire exit out the back. Take Bruce. Get her out, make sure she's okay. I can take care of this. I'm sorry, she better take Mark's report. There's all something.
Okay.
You can come in now.
So long as you turn that off.
Pause isolation. Remain here. Don't fuse in there, by the way.
I don't want you using that.
Oh no.
Keeping my promise.
What?
This property now under Jadoon jurisdiction.
Go ahead and get rid of a couple more rifts.
What just happened? Silver Fox said she, not he. So you, not you. Right? Well, have you kept the receipt for the scoop? Seriously? 3 of you? I had a dream about this once.
Oh.
excited that Ruth is kicking Jadoon ass.
Wow. What the hell?
Why doesn't that surprise me? Oh, she likes a mouthy then, huh? Yeah, went up from cheese in. Oh, okay.
Oh!
He's my favorite. That was not me. My hands, they just moved.
What if it wasn't you? Who was it?
I don't know.
Oh.
Help me. I'm not that person. I don't want to be that person.
Love, I think you are.
You don't have a choice.
I'll reset the coordinates to get you back. Just tell her this. I'm gonna see her again.
Oh.
Maybe not soon. When she needs me, I'll be there.
No, it's gonna be soon.
Beware the lone Cyberman. An empire of evil. In ruins right now.
What?
Down to nothing. But that can all change.
Oh.
If she doesn't listen to this message. I gotta go. I've sent the scoop for return. The lone Cyberman.
He said he figured it out. That means he figured it out. It's Jack. Oh, oh my god. Oh my god. Just it's Jack. Uh-oh. Don't fight the doctor right now. Oh, okay. What is going on? Oh, what's happening? What is, genuinely, what is happening?
Beginning to realize there's something wrong.
Good or bad? It's probably bad. It's probably bad. What the fuck? What? What?
Hello. I'm the doctor. I'm a traveler in space and time.
What is going on?
Section 95 trigger. It'll
Good
destroy
image.
the time strings before you get anywhere near Gallifrey. What did you say? In my time, Gallifrey doesn't exist. It's gone. Forever. And if you don't know that...
Well, don't say forever.
What did you see? What did she show you?
I'm very
I
confused.
don't know what trickery this is.
Oh, shit.
I told her not to do it. I begged her not to fire. Who wants them? Stop using these weapons. No. Shut up.
Oh, shit. I don't have any words. I don't.
Captain Jack Harper said it all.
What?
Beware the lone Cyberman. I liked him.
Oh, but you're opening up. I'm so proud of you. Oh. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, that is...
So, whether you want to go looking for whatever is coming, or wait
Oh my god. I don't even know what to say to that. Like, what am I supposed to say about that? About what? Okay. I'm so fucking excited. I can't even. Okay. So I talked a bit, especially during last season, that I put such a high value on documentary, whether it's, throughout New Who or Classic Who or all of Doctor Who. There's so much stuff that can be brought up. And I think I said, when the Master showed up, I talked about the fact that I really wanted somebody to show up from the Doctor's past. Now, I didn't necessarily, whenever I would say that, I didn't necessarily mean the Master, because that's more conflict than whatever. But I wanted Ryan, Yaz, and Graham to be able to see all of the lives that the Doctor has touched, or just get a little more perspective on who the Doctor is. And I feel like we are doing that with this season, and I am excited for it. There was too much being thrown at me in this episode. I'm gonna try to form words, but it's gonna be difficult. So, I didn't even know the name of the episode because that got, and I immediately thought, well, yeah, I feel like it had to have been the Jadoon was in the title. Because the other, surprises or twists or whatever were, I don't think they would put that in the title. Anyway, so it was great starting off with the Jadoon. We're starting off with a species that we know, most people love, and or maybe not love, I don't know, but I think it's kind of a fan favorite. Is it? Are the Jadoon a fan favorite? I don't know, you can let me know. But and so that was just really exciting. Nonetheless, I was really, really excited about that. Jack is gonna, he needs to show up again. He needs to show up again. Oh my god. I mean, he's bound to. They're not just gonna bring him back for just that. And then oh my god. I'm emotional. Isn't it crazy that this is the 1 month, this was kind of the month that I'm starting Torchwood back up in February? Those of you who have been asking. I just started February, and I'm going to start with Torchwood, and I just I had plans to not watch anything with Jack during the month, but Doctor Who had other plans for me. Oh my goodness, it's just such a good scene. Interact with, the companions performance isn't great, but I was kind of, as soon as I saw him, I'm like, oh my god, it's going to be so beautiful and to see the doctor season, but that didn't happen. That's okay. There's a lot going on in this episode anyway. But I loved that. I loved that they kind of did a little focus on him, and he gave a little bit of perspective, even though it was short, but like a little bit of perspective on who the doctor is. I loved that. I love the fact that we're going to probably see him again, and let's fucking talk about, he said the Cybermen, and you guys know how I feel about the Cybermen. They're my, the long, like, I don't even know. What does that mean? I'm so excited. My brain's on overload right now because there's just like the dude came back, so I'm excited about that. And Jack's there, I'm fucking ecstatic about that. He says something cryptic about Cybermen. I'm here for it, okay? Like, let's go. And like, I'm waiting for the Master to pop up again at some point because, you know, and I love the way the Master was portrayed and what we saw him, and then with Jack. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, I am thrilled. Okay, so now this whole doctor business, I need to talk about that, and I really felt, I feel like she brushed away the dirt, and there was leaves I think my brain, just froze.
Okay, so that rip's gonna be definitely a higher level problem.
What? It seems like it's established that she is in the past, but it's... I don't know. How are we gonna... I don't know. When? And why does...
Give me a sec. I don't know if you've gotten to this point in your classic Who viewing experience, but I think that Ruth is from the same series of regenerations as the Valeyard and Omega. Sorry. And the Other. Period. It fits with the Timeless Child mystery box. Period.
You know, 13 not remember her. You know what I mean? Like, when? She just pop up randomly. She seemed to not know about, like, Gallifrey, like, even the first war, right? So, stay back. Probably. Or it's something completely different. I don't know. I am so confused. But I'm okay with being confused.
Run from the bear.
I'm hoping that the writing is there's gonna be a great payoff to that particular story.
Run from the bear.
Obviously, what I was just saying about the rest of this episode was being excited about Jack, and then like the cryptic Cybermen, and even in previous episodes with the Master and Gallifrey being gone. Like, I'm excited to see whatever. I'm very interested to. I'm interested to figure out more about this whole Doctor thing and who this Doctor is, what she, if, just, I don't, I just need more info. I just need more info. That's basically it. Wow.
And there's an ocular in here.
That's
So
the
much
camp of our
information to get in,
mysterious friends,
like,
unless I'm
one
mistaken.
episode. And I loved every second of just so much of it. It was really exciting. And a little bit confusing. Yeah. I don't know if I have much. The one thing I did want to touch on was I liked that last scene where Ryan basically was like, we don't know your future, we don't know your past, but we know who you are now. Because, a main thing that I really wanted to kind of explore, who 13 really, really is. And she's very closed off about Gallifrey, about who she is. It is kind of crazy, like, if you think about it, how long they've been traveling together with all of these adventures and stuff. And she really hasn't brought up anybody from the past. She hasn't made a side comment about Amy. She hasn't made a side comment about, whoever, Jack. And so there is an interesting part of her that is really kind of a bit closed off and not really wanting to give information out too much. And I think it was a very big moment that she was honest about Ruth being the doctor. And it was a great, I've said what I find to be really great about the doctor's relationships with his companions is that they're all kind of influenced by each other. I don't think it's possibly not going to make sense. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. So much of doctor and companion relationships in the past in New Who, and what I've seen also in kind of in Classic Who, those of you who don't know, maybe you don't know where I'm at. I just started the second Doctor, so I've seen the first Doctor. I think that the first Doctor was very influenced by I think that obviously 9 and 10 is a very significant relationship with Rose and Donna, and there's just so many of these companions, and I felt for the most part with this TARDIS scene, who I like and whatever, there hasn't been a ton of moments where they're learning a lot from each other, emotionally, not just kind of. And that is something that I really want to happen. I want them to have a deeper connection, and for the Doctor to learn from them as much as they are learning from her, and so to speak. And I think that last scene was a really great start to that. Possibly her opening up more, and everybody kind of, I don't know, that I don't know if that made any kind of sense. I hope it did on some level, but yeah, so that's kind of what I'm really hoping for with this storyline, and for her to, these companions to really help her, through what is probably a very difficult time and a bit of a crisis of identity, literally. And I'm very excited for the potential that all of this holds. Whether it's executed great, I guess remains to be seen, but as you guys know, if you've watched this channel for a while, a lot of times, more than often, I tend to like to be optimistic about this stuff. I like to be optimistic. There are reactors, there's a lot of reactors, we're very cynical about stuff. I'm gonna be optimistic until proven otherwise. I'm pretty excited for what the plans are laying out for right now, and I hope that it's going to pay off and be great. And I'm gonna have, a lot of fun reacting on this couch, to the rest of this season. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this reaction. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.
In Unearthed Arcana, there is a warlock. A warlock that makes a lot of sense. That involves genies. This has some incredible flavor, especially at the end. It's the most mean power, I think, in D&D. Tell me a little bit about it.
So, warlocks get a new patron often, the Noble Genie. And here we wanted to explore the whole lore of genies without getting too deep into the specific lore of the different genie types in D&D, but the sort of broader myths about genies, about their desire to collect things, also the fact that so often they are forced to serve others and they have others to serve them. Exploring these things, the Noble Genie patron is all about, first, you having a vessel that's appropriate to genies, whether it's a royal lamp, an amulet of some kind, a magic ring, whatever it is, this object you and your patron, and then you're able to use it to create connections between yourself and other people. There's so much of genie lore is about these bonds between people. Sometimes positive and sometimes negative. And so using this you're able to acquire allies, but then you're also even eventually able to use that vessel as a conduit to banish people to your patron. And this is a particularly delightful thing to say. There's a wonderful sort of narrative here of the person being stuck in the patron's court and simply amusing them before they are whisked back to wherever it is you banished them from. I really love this not only because of just getting to imagine a genie being in their opulent court and then someone just suddenly appearing there and having to process this new locale, but I also am excited about the fact that we, in this subclass, are making your patron far more concrete than we tend to. Yeah. Typically with warlocks, and we do this intentionally, the patrons tend to be sort of shadowy figures in the background. We do that because not every warlock needs to have a close relationship with their patron. Some warlocks make a pact with their patron and then basically say, "See ya, bud. Yeah. Thanks for the power," and then that's as far as the relationship goes. But here we wanted to explore you having a much closer relationship with your patron. So close, in fact, that you're sending people to actually gaze upon the patrons literally, rather than this shadowy, maybe nameless force. No, you're making people go there and actually see them. And you even have the option in one of the abilities in this subclass to send treasure to your patron so that you can use one of the class features more often. Yeah. We again wanted to make this very concrete, partly because since so much of our design is story driven, in stories about genies, they're so often about stuff. Whether it's the thing that the genie is trapped in, or some other object that they seek, or
What's
that
left
the
right here
master of the genie seeks. So often it's about material things, beautiful things, valuable things. And we wanted to make sure that was an element here. The subclass includes a table that you can roll on, or if you decide you don't want to pick what your vessel is, you get to roll on this table to figure out what it is. That's actually a common theme, this rolling on a table to get some story thing that we explored in 3 of the 4 subclasses here, really attempting to heighten the number of little story hooks that we put into the subclasses to serve as inspiration for people, to take the subclass and see there are many different directions you can take a subclass story-wise, small directions and large directions. And we are looking into putting more of those seeds in the subclasses to inspire people.
There's a very unique monk in this Unearthed Arcana. This is a monk who can heal, but also take away. This is someone who's like mastered the physical form.
Yeah, so the Way of Mercy is a new option for monks, for people to play test. And this is another case where I came to the team with a concept and said, this is what I'm imagining. And in this case, Ben Petrosor is the designer who took it and ran with it. And the concept that I really wanted us to explore was, first off, aesthetically, a monk whose cultural origins were more Western European than Asian, because part of it is I feel the monk often leans too hard into its Asian cultural roots, and it would be nice to see us create more monks that you could see at home in a more European kind of context. So what I presented is, imagine a monk-like character in a cultural context where there would be like the bubonic plague doctors, and so this is a monk who is dishing out the mercy of healing, but also the mercy of swift death. And if anyone is wondering, why is it called the Way of Mercy when there's not only healing, but also this slaying element? Well, that's why.
When I hit the other, you're curing something.
Yes, yes.
So.
And we even leaning into the sort of European inspiration, added in the option for your monk to wear essentially a mask that's like the mask that plague doctors would wear. And it could be a raven mask, a butterfly, which is sort of representing rebirth. It could be a tragedy mask, a comedy mask, something that could be both amusing but also horrifying. And this, cowled monk wearing a robe, going out and, maybe with one hand giving life and another hand giving death, could be a source of hope for a people, but also could be a symbol of doom for others. And that's really what we wanted to explore, and I think the subclass does a nice job of showing those two sides. This monk who is walking with both the power of life and of death.
Yeah, you can do healing damage, you can do necrotic damage, but you also have a form of attack that is very terrifying. If the target is poisoned, you control the amount of dice you're using with your attacks.
Yeah, you can make your attacks more potent, and then you can even at high
It makes
levels,
sense that Liliana did the recruiting when the Inquisition started.
Yes.
Not everyone can be intimidated into signing up after all.
I recruited Commander Cullen.
Lucky him.
He's made no complaints about my manners.
His last boss was a raving lunatic who turned into a statue. That's not a high bar.
Things are very Dracula-y. Again, you've got, being at the bottom of the ocean and being suspended animations over time.
Yeah.
Some really interesting utility there.
And that's very purposeful. We wanted even that suspended animation ability to have both a life side and a death side, because you can use it to incapacitate a foe, but you could also use it to protect a friend. So it has this dual face, and that is the whole theme of this monk: life, death, two faces. Hence the mask. Your false face and your real face. Although you could always play a monk who has discovered that the mask they wear represents who they are better than their physical face. So that is the story of some superheroes, where the costume is actually a truer representation of the person than the person underneath is.
I always enjoyed Batman's realization.
Yeah. So I think this is really fun monk, walking both into the It is also an opportunity for us to explore healing magic outside of our traditional healing classes. Also the Bard, of course. But this is a chance for us to have healing that is not spellcasting based, or fueled by a mystical force, in this case, ki. And it's also a way to delve into a monastic aesthetic that is very different from what we typically do in the monk.
In Unearthed Arcana, there is a new paladin, the Watchers. This, to me, this is great for an entertainer adventure. Wonderfully with the Horizon Watcher.
So the Oath of the Watchers paladin is, in many ways, meant to be a partner to the Horizon Walker Ranger. We are imagining here an order of paladins dedicated to essentially guarding the gateways between the mortal world and various extraplanar realms that things come into the material plane and cause creatures such as fiends and fae and others. These are the paladins who are prepared to get these things. Paladins in general have some abilities that go in this direction, but we wanted to make a paladin, and then again, a paladin order dedicated to basically stay out. You demons, you devils, you aberrations. The corrupting influence is not welcome here.
Okay.
I like this very much because it just implies to me that there are many of them in many worlds. Like this is maybe this can speak very, very quickly to a very interplanar organization. Paladins. I get very excited about this. What are some of the key abilities? It is a very beefy spell list that is obviously very extra-planar focused as well, but it's got some other juicy stuff.
So, as one would expect, this paladin is good at banishing things, at facing extra-planar threats, and being a...
Click these two shards, go for the other rift.
Against them. And you mentioned you could imagine these paladins appearing in multiple settings. That's intentional. In fact, that's intentional not only for the Watchers, but it's intentional for any subclass we design generally. We are always striving to explore concepts that could potentially be at home in any D&D setting. So we're always looking for what is not only going to feel right in Waterdeep, but it's going to feel right in Sharn and Sigil and Palanthas and